This is KUGAN, CASSIUS for
Do you know what? I think people slate me because I mess about too much. Are we actually doing this interview now? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think people get the because I joke about in that a little bit, but it's all fun and games, isn't it?
Right, let me introduce this KUGAN, CASSIUS, IFL TV, MTK Global at the MTK Global show here in Brentwood. Delighted to be joined by renowned trainer Ben Davison.
It's a new one.
Do you want to interview your brother? Do you want to get your brother in? Go on, get in. You interview him.
Go on then, come on. This is my brother, what's your name?
McDoyle.
McDoyle.
Yeah.
And so what did you think of Isaac's performance today?
Yeah, he boxed very well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So give us your assessment.
I think
Sorry, break the fight down.
I think Isaac was far too powerful for him outboxing him, beat him comfortable.
There you go, and that's your assessment. Hashtag MTK Global.
Gives me mic back. Mac, that was a solid 3 out of 10 for you, Mush. All right. Ben, yeah, little 6th round tick-over fight for Isaac just to keep him busy, but kind of a little bit frustrated he couldn't get him out of there.
Isaac was frustrated. That lad's not been stopped, do you know what I mean? He's been in with some good names, and Isaac hurt him in the first round, and to be honest, I was very disappointed with that myself, to be honest, because certain things that we've been working on with Isaac completely went out of the window because he hurt the kid in the first round. Now, for me, I'm disappointed in that, although it was a win, and I don't want to put a downer on it, but it is also an experience for Isaac because he needs to learn that you have to adapt. And I said the last words I said to him before we went out with if you hurt him, take your time unless you know he's gone. And he hurt the lad, but he wasn't clear to be finished, as that showed. Unbelievable tough lad, but listen, it was 6 rounds, and it's all learning, all part of the development. He's still only young, Isaac.
Obviously, not too recently signed for MTK Global. Big year for Isaac, though. Obviously, he's been crying out for kind of big fights. We know he obviously had the fight with Walsh, etc., etc. But from then, kind of wants to push on now, Ben.
Yeah, he won the WBC international title on Tyson's undercard over in America, so that's good. He'll make a defence of that on Tyson's next undercard too, and maybe even beforehand. But at his age and where he's at in his career, it's still all about developing and improving. And as long as he's doing that, then I'm happy. Overall, his game's improving. Just with that, it was more of an emotional thing. That his boxing went out the window a little bit, and some subtleties, and he went back to some old frustrating ways. But like I say, it's all part of the development. At least I'm seeing it in the gym, and it's just transitioning it from the gym into the ring.
Now, you were out in full force yesterday at the Royal Albert Hall. I know you've had a little bit of criticism over some of the attire that you were wearing, including your footwear. Do you want to respond?
What?
Including your footwear.
What was wrong with the footwear?
I didn't say anything wrong. I just see you getting a little bit of stick.
They were old school roadman Pradas. Nothing wrong with them, was there? I think I've had them since 2011, probably.
I know, it was either them or the Patrick Cox. You couldn't decide which one you wanted.
That was good. It was a good show as well. Very good show.
We caught up probably 2 weeks ago at a Tyson Fury event, and a couple of days after, we learnt that the rematch won't be happening. Are you confident the rematch does happen this year?
Yes, I do think so. Listen, it depends on what Wilder's moves are, you know. Like I said before, if we'd gone back to Showtime and boxed on Showtime again and the same thing had happened, we would have been badly criticised, and it would have been a terrible business move for Tyson. So, obviously, MTK have bared that in mind and trying to do their best for him. For Tyson, he does not care about the money. It's not about money. It's not about any of that. He wants a fair crack at the whip, and we don't feel like, and 99% of the world feel like we didn't get that the first time. So changes have to be made, and that's what we've done for not for money, for our best interest for Tyson, to make sure he gets a fair crack at the whip, and that's all we're doing. And how can you criticise that? You can't.
I mean, we know that from obviously the reports that a deal was offered to Deontay Wilder with a view to obviously having the fight with Tyson in a second fight, to have an interim fight. But was it kind of is it a power game? They didn't obviously want to kind of sign Wilder over to the whole ESPN thing?
I don't know, to be honest. That you have to ask on their behalf. All I know is that it was a very good offer. It was a good deal, and it was, like you say, to make that rematch happen. And you know, I'm sure that they're still talking, they're still negotiating, but I'm sure Wilder is talking to Dazn, and Showtime are probably trying to keep him there. So he's in a good position, you know. So everybody wants him at the minute to try and make the big fight. So we'll see how it lies, but we're just trying to do the best that we can do so that we get a fair shot at what we deserve.
Obviously, we also learnt now the WBC have ordered Dominic Brazil as the mandatory challenger for Wilder. That fight's rumoured to take place at some point in May. We're also learning that apparently Wilder is going to be in talks with Dazn. He's going to hear what they have to say. So what do you make of that situation and him talking to Dazn?
I can understand it because, like I said, when you're in high demand, you know, he's going to get fantastic offers because everybody wants to make that fight, and he's got a piece of the pie, and that's why I was saying I feel like to get those fights, everybody brings a piece to the pie. So that's why I feel like to get those fights between Tyson, Wilder, and Joshua across the board, it'd have to be 50-50 because everybody brings their piece to the pie if we really want to find out who's the best. But it's a difficult one. There's loads to it, but
would it shock you if Wilder did a deal with Dazn, considering kind of the history with the whole Eddie Hearn Joshua thing? If he was to do a deal directly with Dazn, would that shock you?
No, definitely not, because Dazn will do a lot to get Wilder, but will they make that fight this year? Because I don't think they would.
What, you believe if they were to do a deal with him, they wouldn't, and they kind of know they had him then, they wouldn't necessarily push to make that fight happen like after that?
I don't think the fight would happen this year if he goes to Dazn. And they'll do the same thing, try and promote Wilder, make it a bigger fight before they do the fight probably next year. But, you know, we had a similar thing in place where we wanted one fight. Well, ESPN wanted one fight just to help promote that fight and get the two fighters out to 75% of American homes to make that fight as big as possible, which is understandable. I'm sure they know what they're doing. They're a very successful company, so that's in their hands, you know. Well, I'm just a trainer, so.
I know, I keep thinking that, I keep asking. I know people kind of give you a little bit of stick after our last interview saying, why is Ben talking about kind of all this kind of stuff? Well, the reason Ben's talking about it is because I'm asking about it.
Exactly. But listen, at the end of the day, I'm the trainer, you know. I just get told, and then it's crack on. I do my job to prepare Tyson for the fight.
You do the training and make the teas. That's your job title.
Exactly, make the teas. What else do I do? I do the when we're having dinner. Tim does all the cooking, right? But I won't let him do the rice. I take care of the rice. So
the rice man.
Rice man.
Okay, so Tyson's obviously been on this tour and he's touring the country doing all these talks and everything. So what are you kind of preparing for with Tyson as in a date-wise? Are you training for May or June?
We should find out very, very shortly in the next couple of days. So
opponent-wise as well?
Opponent-wise, from what I've heard, there's been a couple of offers put around. But, again, I don't send the offers, do I? So I just get told. But spoke to Tyson, we'll be back working next week. And he's in a good place, you know what I mean? And that's what's important. Do you know with those shows, let me just explain something here, okay? What Tyson's done goes beyond boxing, far, far, far beyond boxing. When I've been to them shows with him, and parents have come up to Tyson, crying their eyes out, saying to him, if it wasn't for you being so outspoken about mental health, my child, parents, this is coming to him, bawling their eyes out, saying, if it wasn't for you being so outspoken about mental health, my child wouldn't have had the courage to speak to me about their problems and on the brink of ending it all. And what Tyson's done goes beyond boxing, far beyond boxing. So when things get frustrating about negotiations and this and that, it means nothing. We're not worried about that because, like I say, what Tyson does goes far beyond boxing, means a lot more. And genuinely, it's saving lives, thousands and thousands of messages a day. To have people, it's a very weird thing to talk about, but when you see it, it's a very, very emotional thing. To see a parent come to you and say that you've saved my child's life is a very weird thing because it's beautiful in one way but disastrous in another. And like I say, it goes beyond boxing what Tyson's doing and what he's about.
Frank Warren said in the last couple of days that it could look like a top 5 opponent. I'm not sure what he means by it. Say a top 5, but with the WBC, or because there's 2 governing bodies he's not even kind of ranked with, isn't there?
Who said that?
Who said what? No, I'm saying this.
Who said that? The top 5.
Frank Warren said that he'll fight a top 5 fighter in one of their interviews.
Why are you asking me then?
Well, no, I'm just saying you must know because you're obviously you're this side of it. You'll know opponent-wise. I can talk to you about this shit.
Team maker. No, I know it's going to be a good level of opponent because, like Frank said there, it'll be a top 5. It'll be a top 5 opponent. In which organisation? In any other organisations? I don't know. I'm just a team maker.
All right. Well, listen. Yeah, like I said, rounds in the bank for Isaac, and on he rolls. Hopefully, he can kind of get a fight that you and him both want because it's time Isaac pushed on now.
Yeah, but like I say, he's still young, and I've only actually worked with Isaac. When you actually break it down, look, it seems like it a bit now be 3 camps, but when you actually break it down, it's probably 16 weeks all in total. So it's not a long time, he's still developing. He's a fighter under development, and he don't need to be rushed. He's still only young, and when the time's right, we'll let him off. But he's got the WBC International at the minute, and it's a good thing, and he'll make a good defence of it against a good fighter, hopefully on Tyson's undercard.